Alright, so this is a movie review on Kickboxer. This is could be my favorite movie ever. I've seen this movie a bunch of times. It's hard to say your favorite movie, there's so many movies out there. This one had quite an impact on me at an early age. I saw it when I was 8 years old, and got me to do the splits and get into martial arts. So pretty influential here. I've seen it so many times, I have it down pretty well for memory. But this is Van Damme at his best. Um, it's kind of a toss-up between Kickboxer and Bloodsport. Here it says from the star of Bloodsport and Cyborg, right there. It's before he got really famous. He had a deal to um, do some low-budget movies, but luckily with his karate skills, he didn't need a big budget to make a big impact in the films. Um, so this is him at his best. Um, he might have been a little more bulked up in the movie Bloodsport. I'll probably do a review on that movie too, sometime in the future. But this one seems to be like the just better kind of overall movie, and seems to be better overall martial arts skills and everything in this movie too. Um, and it says down here, if your enemy refuses to be humbled, destroy him. And that's what Van Damme does to Tom Poe, the bad guy in this movie. Um, just at the end of it, just overwhelming victory. Once he's allowed to, get in gear and start fighting, because uh, the Tom Poe's manager, Freddie Lee, kidnapped his brother later on after Tom Poe paralyzed him in the ring, and once he's so before the fight, Freddie Lee said, if you want your brother to live, you're gonna have to let Tom Poe beat you all these rounds. You have to last the whole fight and let Tom Poe punish you all the rounds. But at the last round, his brother Eric whistles to the crowd and starts chanting, "Naksu Cow," and so then he's ready to fight. And so he cuts the gloves off, and because they fight the old style and the end fight where they have their hands wrapped up and then broken glass on top of that, fighting with broken glass on their hands. But for some reason, Van Damme doesn't want that on doesn't feel he needs that to beat him, and he puts on a real clinic at the end. Um, you see like the best of his skills, like I guess maybe all his best kicks and stuff like that. Um, at the end fight, including his 360 split kick, which I learned a few years later watching an interview with him about the Expendables 2 that he actually used ropes to do that move. Like special props and stuff. I guess you can have him do it like that and then edit out the ropes in there. But so I never knew about that. Like when I was a kid watching it, it was just the movie magic, as they say. And I didn't know about editing and certain shots and stuff like that to make it look its best. But regardless of whatever props he might have used, it's still very good and still pretty unrivaled to this day as the overall package. Including like UFC fighters and stuff like that. They talk about their evolution of UFC fighters, but still haven't seen anybody like Van Damme and Bruce Lee in there, or Jackie Chan or anybody like that. I guess it's because just specialization of skills and kind of going after your own target as opposed to certain object of certain goal of certain competition needs. I was actually reading about that earlier about karate, and a lot of people don't like sport karate because they have to gear their training a certain way for the sport instead of the art, and so it changes the movements a lot. So Van Damme has the karate background, and it's Kickboxer and set in Thailand, but Van Damme is a karate specialist, so he mostly does karate type training with his trainer Zian in this movie. I've seen this movie so many times, it's like down from memory. But um, so Zian is kind of like a Chinese kung fu teacher, even though he's in Thailand, and they work on Tai Chi, Tai Chi and karate, and a little bit of Muay Thai type stuff. And they do the a lot of like old-fashioned type training, really brutal type stuff, which certain times can be necessary. Push you beyond your limits, beyond where you think you can go. Because an athlete wants to go so far, but if someone's pushing them, they can go that much further. And yeah, I want to say it's set in Thailand. It's beautiful architecture in this movie. Very, very beautiful, very striking. And then it also has a certain charm to it because it's filmed in the late 80s, and the camera isn't quite as it's not like an HD camera or real advanced, so it has a certain charm to the film. You can watch it and see it's set in a certain time period, kind of like the charm of a black and white movie. People like this. So let me think. I kind of raced across this. Only 6 or 7 minutes. I guess not too much more to say. Yeah, that's about it. Oh yeah, and I wanted to say it's a lot like Rocky 4. A lot of action movies started doing that. I'll probably do a review on Rocky 4, where the good guy gets hurt. In Rocky 4, Apollo Creed got killed, and here his brother gets paralyzed. And then so two fighters are friends, and then one fighter gets hurt or killed by the bad guy, and the other fighter has to come back and avenge him. Let me see. Okay, now I'm gone. I kind of drew a blank there. But so he trains with this almost mythical trainer. Runs into a guy in Thailand who just so happens to know the best trainer around, the legendary Zian. And that's kind of a fantasy of a lot of martial artists and stuff like that, is to meet this mythological trainer, like Mr. Miyagi or something like that in Karate Kid, who can get you a cut above the rest or far beyond the rest of the competition. And so traditional martial arts has that kind of allure to find the right trainer who can get you to that super advanced level. So and Van Damme definitely gets to another level in this movie. I'll say he's already pretty much skilled where he's at, but I guess he plays his part and does really well in the training scenes. That's one of the big aspects of this movie. One of the very noteworthy aspects in this movie is that the training in it is very like, I guess, Rocky 4-ish. Not Rocky 4, but in that vein, I guess you would say, of really extraordinary training, really hard, tough training to make him a really incredible fighter. Because before in the story, his brother could beat him up, but he goes to Zian and is able to totally demolish the guy who paralyzed his brother. So that was all due to knowing the right guy. So pretty interesting there. It's kind of a martial arts fantasy there to run across the right trainer, and they bring you to that incredible level. So I guess I could talk about this for a while, go into detail about different scenes, but I guess it's one of those movies you have to see for yourself and see what you think about it. So Kickboxer right there. There's the back of it. So I've had this movie for a long time. It's in a VHS. If you watch it in HD, it's like watching a different movie. Um, I also want to talk about the bad guy just a little bit, Tom Poe. Tom Poe is he's a real incredible bad guy. Real formidable. Where you hit him, he doesn't seem to feel any pain or anything like that. Doesn't seem to phase him when you hit him. A lot like Ivan Drago was in Rocky IV. And he plays a really good part. Really mean, really nasty, really vicious, really intimidating. Um, and that's part of what makes this movie so good is a good bad guy. That helps a lot. That's talk about Enter the Dragon a little later. What I feel is kind of lacking in that movie is no really strong bad guy. Whereas I kind of like Return of the Dragon better because Chuck Norris played a good opposite, good antagonist. Um, but yeah, this is Van Damme, probably at his best right here. He makes some good movies after this, but this seems to be like his best shape. He gets in pretty good shape after the quest too. He has run into some personal problems, which there's kind of I guess all kinds of videos about that, and I need to elaborate on that. A lot of wives and drugs, but seems to be doing pretty well now. I've gone through that phase. Sometimes some people need to get partying out of their system. Some people get partying out of their system at an early age, and some people who've never really experienced that, once they get into it, they kind of go off the deep end. But Van Damme is pretty incredible. His skills are still pretty hard to be rivaled. He has that strange combination of strength and flexibility, muscular physique with a flexible body. That's pretty hard to come by. That's what makes him so popular to this day, and popular when this movie came out. A lot of times somebody is either like pretty like kind of weak or scrawny and flexible, or they're really muscular and stiff. So really to get that flexibility with strength, it just takes a lot more training, a lot more time. You have to spend time on the flexibility and the strength training, and then also there's probably a genetic component to it as well. But sad I can't stop staring at this cover. Yeah, it's a really great movie. If you haven't seen it, you should probably check it out. It's a real cult classic, as they would say. So that's that. Van Damme, Kickboxer.